Me too. I really it's interesting, there's about 10,000 things that I do every day that don't have to do with actually channeling because we're running an international movement and a mystery school and several businesses to support this ministry. And so, this is just as much a gift for me as well to be focusing on this opportunity to just be in the presence of Mother Mary and the Ascended Masters together with you. So I'm really happy that we're doing this together today. And it's so wonderful to see this feedback coming in. Thank you so much for being here live with us today. Thank you for your gratitude and your support. I want to thank everybody for the beautiful reflections that you've been writing in on YouTube and for following us on Instagram and Facebook at Kaia Official. Um, every like and subscribe, all of your supportive comments, they're so helpful for us to reach as many people as possible with this message and the medicine of the Sophia Code for those it is meant for. It's not meant for everyone, but for those it's meant for. A lot of times people describe finding the Sophia Code as though they finally came home. um, I've had uh, people in their 60s, 70s, 80s that have told me I feel as though I waited my entire life for the Sophia Code. And I just can't tell you how deeply touched I feel when I hear that. It's, I sacrificed everything to to birth the Sophia Code. And so when I hear feedback like that and reflections, it just makes it so worth it. And when we go on a journey like this with a particular ascended master, I get to return back to that time where that's pretty much all I did was just focus on these masters and channeling the Sophia Code. And I get to just to be back here with Mother Mary today with you and come home, right? This is coming home to our heart. So much of Mother Mary's chapter is about opening your heart chakra. It's about opening your heart to a much broader and expanded relationship with life. And it's also about opening your heart to fully stepping into your sovereign divinity, your sovereign divine power. Now, I often get a lot of questions of, Kaia, why do you talk about sovereignty so much? Well, sovereignty is huge because when we understand that not only were we given a free will, but we were also equally given a sovereign soul, what that points to is that you have to decide what you're going to follow in this lifetime. Are you going to follow your own heart? Are you going to follow what the divine guidance that you're receiving in your direct connection with the source and your higher self? Or are you going to listen to the dogma, the dictates, the mind control of this enslaved world? Like, it's very important to understand that humanity is battling a global war of enslavement. And I could talk for hours about that as a survivor of it. I know that I was meant to channel the Sophia Code because I lived in that parallel world that is continually doing its best to enslave the world we live in. And and from that journey of abject slavery, and then going through my internal process of reclaiming my body, reclaiming my emotions, reclaiming my heart, reclaiming my life, my consciousness, all of it. It was only through the Sophia Code that I was able to bust through all of the shackles that were placed upon my mind, my belief systems, and my body. And it was because the Sophia Code is a transmission of sovereignty. Sovereignty means that in truth, because you are completely divine, you've been made in the image and likeness of Sophia Source, that means that no one actually can enslave you. You can have a temporary experience of that on the earth plane, but because you are divinity in the flesh, you have the power in your sovereignty to overthrow all of the programming, all of the mind control, any ways that you've been addicted to codependency, self-sabotage. And all of those words are forms of slavery. They're forms of self-punishment and they're forms of self-rejection. It's how we pit ourselves against ourselves, right? And that's exactly what the agendas of this world want for us to do is to hand our power over to something outside of ourselves. But when we step into the presence of these ascended masters that speak to us through the Sophia Code, we are stepping into a resonance of pure sovereignty, which means it doesn't matter what you have survived in this life. Hello, 18 years of atrocities. You can overcome what you have survived, and you can move into a space of thriving, of success, of inner peace. Does that mean you're always going to feel inner peace? No, but there's this journey where you can learn how to access it in any moment, in the rising and falling of your human journey, the rising and falling of your emotions during your very heroic human journey. You can learn how to access the peace that is unconditional. We talked a lot about an unconditional love yesterday. There's also unconditional peace. Unconditional peace is when we don't expect the outer world to change. We're for us to discover that we can rebalance and harmonize with the peace within us, a peace that is not dependent on the outer circumstances of this world. And interestingly enough, if you've survived extreme trauma, sometimes those extreme moments actually cause us to access an unconditional peace within, because we have to find a way to access it when there's chaos outside of ourselves. Now, the prayer that we're working on here with Mother Mary in her chapter and her mentorship with us is that we're learning how to access an unconditional peace based in the truth of our sovereign divinity. So, no matter how much we feel as though we keep coming up against relationships that feel imbalanced or even unhealthy or codependent, there's some kind of aspect of your life that you're really looking to change. It's coming into a deeper relationship with that sovereign divinity within you, within your own heart, that allows for you to access a peace that is assuring you that you can also access a strength and a grace to live your life in a different way, to live in those relationships from a different context, to engage with others from a completely different place, a place of sovereignty, not of codependency, not of self-sabotage or self-hatred, but a place of equal and shared sovereignty, because that's how you were created. So that's kind of the big mystery, shall we say, of what's happening on this planet. It's like those energies that are causing so much destruction and abuse of power on this planet are praying, they're hoping that you will be so distracted by them, by the externalized chaos that is being created right now on the planet. They're hoping you don't get in touch with the truth of your sovereign divinity. This is why the Sophia Code is so revolutionary. It's literally the answer to the enslavement issue that we have going on with the human species. Like, most of humanity can't think a thought for itself. It's been that programmed, dumbed down, toxified, and abused. It's not humanity's fault. I mean, at the very core of the physiology of humanity, we have genetic mutilation that's been happening to humanity for centuries now. And I'm not going to go that far into it, but the light of your sovereign divinity is what overrides all of that abuse. Centuries of patriarchal oppression, the light of your own sovereign divinity, the consciousness of your sovereign divinity has the power to operate your awareness and your body beyond the seeming limitations of this world. It's because you are drawing directly from your source, the intelligence, the regenerative life force, the solutions, the healing energy, directly from the source of all life that exists far beyond this planet. Your heart chakra is a stargate for accessing that source energy. And so, what Mother Mary is inviting us into in her chapter 9 of the Sophia Code, she's inviting us to just stop fighting with our own heart. And that's what we're gonna walk through in today's day 3 of 7 days of Mother Mary. It's like your heart holds all the power. Your heart has an intelligence that comes directly from your higher self, from God. Your heart intelligence is the same heart intelligence that the ascended masters have. And it's that heart intelligence that we have been um, abused for and programmed to doubt and to betray ourselves, to betray our own hearts. And Mother Mary saying, no, you are the spiritual warriors. You are the angels in human form that came to as this generation at this time to open the doors of humanity's heart. She says that in the beginning of her chapter. She says that back on page 165. Yeah, top of 165. These returning souls would carry a clear remembrance of their unique purpose within their spiritual DNA. That's your divine genome, right? From the knowledge of all their lifetimes, they would effortlessly recall how to administer the ancient rites of initiation for humanity to awaken as peaceful stewards of the earth. For these ancient ones, by the way, you're one of the ancient ones that Mother Mary is talking about here. For these ancient ones, it is prophesied that their greatest initiation would be opening humanity's heart to remember its divine origin. Boom. If you want to know why you're here to be a part of a collective of angelic souls that you're seeing here in this live chat, here on this live broadcast in the Sophia Code community. And our great angelic mission is to open humanity's heart to remember its divine origin. That's it. Mother Mary declares it right at the beginning of her chapter. That's why we're here. There were prophecies about this. So if we're here to initiate the heart of humanity, to open up the doors of humanity's heart, to open up and to remember just how precious, loved, and whole humanity is, we have to be willing to do that